I look like I'm trying to hold some urine in.
Welcome back to the People Who Poo Podcast, inspiring shit from everyday people. My name's Daniel. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Today we have the great Ben Belward. Ben is an amazing musician and shit talker. He was in Barcelona for some gigs, so we took him down to the beach for a sunset so that he could entertain us, and by golly, entertain he did. I could only get one mic stand for the podcast, so like the trooper he is, he played a whole set with a microphone stuck between his knees, which he complained about beautifully between songs. I tried not to cut out too much of his ad-libs or his 10-second freestyle songs about gluten or penis microphones. If you want less of that and less of our faces, you can listen to this on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Here on video, you'll see the beautiful scar Ben has on his knee. Fun fact, that's from after he sang at our wedding over a year ago and then ended up in hospital. So after his set, we talk about that, the music industry today, why he's not famous, and submarines. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Belward.
Remember to always be true, no matter what you do.
What's going on here?
People who poo.
What is this?
Stop what you're doing and listen.
You can't hide, you can't run.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's be Paris, yeah, let's be limitless. This is more than charm. Speech bubbles slipping over my head. Superficial fancies, compliments to it back. Grant me a French drawl instead. I don't even care what she said. What's love if it's not a pursuit? Spill wine all over my dinner suit. Let's party till our hearts call on 10, till every dollar in my wallet is marry me, marry on. Marry me, marry on. I don't know what you're on, but you are my mind. Marry me, marry on. Marry me, marry on. I don't know what you're on, but you are my mind. Let's be Paris, yeah, let's be limitless. This is more than charm. You're curious about me, conventional flattery. So she sees things so differently. Life easily, but not freely. Can we revel in this city cemetery? Follow the river to the sea. Marry on, we live in a world that's free. Let's make it about you and marry me, marry on. Marry me, marry on. I don't know what you're on, but you are my mind. Marry me, marry on. Marry me, marry on. I don't know what you're on, but you are my mind. You are my mind. You are my mind. You are my mind. Let's be Paris, yeah, let's be limitless. This is more than charm. Let's be Paris, yeah, let's be limitless. This is more than charm. Let's be Paris, yeah, let's be limitless. This is more than charm. Anesthesia for the mundane, amnesia's for another day. Anesthesia for the mundane. Marry me, marry on. Marry me, marry on. I don't know what you are on, but I know that you are my mind. Marry me, marry on. Oh, marry me, marry on. Oh, I don't know what you're on, but you are my mind. You are my mind. Oh, you are my mind. You are my mind. You are my down, faded Black Street. The homies got RB collab creations. Bum like acne, no doubt. I put it down, never slouch. As long as my credit can vouch, a dog couldn't catch me straight up. Tell me who be stopping Dre making moves, attracting honeys like a magnet, giving them the orgasms with a mellow accent. Still moving this flavor with the homies Black Street and Teddy, the original rum shaker. Sure to get down, good lord. Homies got me moving all over town. Strictly bitch, don't play around. Cover much ground, get paid by the pound. Getting paid is a forte each and every day. True play away, can't get her out of my mind. Well, think about the girl all the time now. Thank you so much. I can't feel my crotch. Of a penis mic, much better than a owner of a penis mic. Lose yourself. I got a mic between my tits and it's really uncomfortable. Right. Hi everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Yeah, it's fine. My tits around my knees. I didn't finish high school. Don't judge me, because I'm uneducated. Right, everyone. Welcome to the Taylor Swift Tribute Hour. My name is Ben Belward. We're going to play some Taylor Swift songs. Right. Let's do a cover. This one's by Anderson .Paak. Hands up. Who loves Anderson .Paak? Yeah! 1, 2, 3, 4. I need the right one. With the right imagination, someone to talk to, somebody patient. I want a cold piece, I want a love sensation. I got the mind first, I'll make the body pay for it. Could be the right one, with a little dedication. Gonna make me follow through, gonna make me taste it. Ooh, I want a stone groove, I want a love sensation. Someone to talk to, somebody patient, 'cause lately my whole being just wants what it needs, and I don't mind. I need it, I need it, I need it, I need it. Could be the right one. Car keys in the cake dish. Gotta check the pipe work. Gotta check the papers. My God, amazing. You want my last name sick. Wanna have my baby sick. I'll take you all places. I want the world stage. A certified classic. Big planes. Light baggage. I got a long reach. You got that good conversation. You're such a cold piece. I wonder if you're faking, 'cause lately my whole being just wants what it needs, and I don't mind. I need it, I need it, I need it, I need it. Despacito. Right, I know you are Miss Right. Oh, I know you are Miss Right. Oh, I know, oh, I know. Whoa, I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. Whoa, I'm ready to let go. I'm not ready to let go. I'm not ready to let go. da 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 da. And yeah, it rains, but you shake it off, irritate. Body says coffee, my Cheerios from a trough. Watch them supervise. Watch you supervise. Whoa, I'm not ready to let go. Whoa, and we're doing this too slow. Whoa, I'm not ready to let go, let go, let go. I'd hate to be that guy, but probably am. Destined for the sidelines, I got some new fans. I'd hate to be that guy, but probably am. Destined for the sidelines, can all be John Ham. Damn, she's a shade. Oh, grey one world, she colonized my day. Let the tables wait for big pay. Broke men, they like to debate. They like to debate. Whoa, I'm not ready to let go. Whoa, they were doing this too slow. Whoa, I'm not ready to let go, let go, let go. I'd hate to be that guy, but probably am. Destined for the sidelines, can all be John Ham. I'd hate to be that guy, but probably am. But probably am. What do you mean it was like a bag of sand? Time to make fear. Might as well take the lead. I might as well take the lead. Take the lead. I can't let go. I won't let go. Whoa. Taking this too so. Whoa, I'm not ready to let go, let go, let go. I'd hate to be that guy, probably am. Destined for the sidelines, we can all be John Ham. I'd hate to be that guy, but probably am. But probably am. Muchas gracias. Oh, my crotch hurts. Let me do a little crotch stretch first. Oh. When I started out, I just wrote songs like Fall Out Boy, and now I write songs like jazz stuff, because that's really hot right now. And I just follow the trends. I'm just talking to myself. This song is called Timelines. It's about when you're sitting at work, staring at a spreadsheet, and you're thinking, God, wouldn't it be great to be on stage at Primavera Sound? And now I've made it and I'm here. It's awesome. Thank you very much. It's fucking great to be here. This song's called Timelines. How can we be free with all these shifting timelines? Article 50 slamming doors in my friends' lives. And all this I can do without money or time. Hardly a victim, but these 90s kids love to whine. So BC's in Silicon Valley, sell up, sell down, run into the ground, stare at spreadsheets in economic seats, clock watch, countdown. The best time is now. Past I'm addicted, self-inflicted, draw the line. Log date our days, deforest these acres of time. Blind ambition leads to friction, cure it all by giving up. But so we're going slow and holding out for luck. Read diary lines back from 2005 again. Set up pieces in Silicon Valley, sell out, sell down, run it to the ground. Stare at spreadsheets with economic sheets, clock watch, countdown. The best time is now. Stare at spreadsheets in economic sheets, clock watch, countdown. The best time is now. RBC's in Silicon Valley, sell up, sell down. The best time is now. Now it gets a little Brazilian. Oh yeah. Ooh, ay, ay, oh, wow, wow, wow. Ooh, oh, oh, wow, wow, wow. Said 48 to 4, and obey the market law. Wish I could ignore these hamster wheel thoughts. 48 to 4, obey the market law. Wish I could ignore these hamster wheel thoughts. These hamster wheel thoughts. Shouts out to Michael McDonald, he's my favorite artist, yeah. And one more time and let's go. So set up BC's in Silicon Valley, sell up, sell down, run it to the ground, stare at spreadsheets in economic sheets, clock watch, countdown. The best time is now. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, who's ever had their heart broken? I never have. That's a boring thing to sing about, so I'm going to sing about athleisure and making sure you keep your body in shape. The song's called Hamstring. Huh? A song about gluten? I wish that I had never eaten Cheerios growing up, yeah. Growing up, yeah. Look at Novak Djokovic when he kicked the gluten and he won Wimbledon. Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Supposed to be an Adonis, so honey, I got this. Male gaze unbreaking, talk it up so you can make it. It's hard to admit when we all want to get it, that at a 3/4 pavilion we can all be that rich. Focus up and calm down, you can cover that ground. Dark days you path through, even if it's not you. Next day we're written down, there's no easy way. Clear my physical debt, haven't found her yet. I haven't found her yet. Haven't found her yet. Your hamstring will never get pulled, will never get pulled, will never get pulled. Hands are ringed and my plate is full, and my plate is full, and my plate is full. Sabotage and quickly withdraw, and quickly withdraw, and quickly withdraw. They cannot come knocking my door, come knocking this door. Maybe I should just grow some balls, feel it all, scale the wall, taking the easiest way out. Withdraw cash from my mouth. I'm flipping to the end, we're not even friends. Okay to pretend. After drink number 10, after drink number 10, your hamstring will never get pulled, will never get pulled, will never get pulled. Hands are ringed and my plate is full, and my plate is full, and my plate is full. Sabotage and quickly withdraw, and quickly withdraw, and quickly withdraw. They cannot come locking my door, come locking this door. We fight with each other, we fight with each other, stumble through, back to one another, back to one another, I see through you. Your hamstring will never get pulled, will never get pulled, will never get pulled. Hands are ringed and my plate is full, and my plate is full, and my plate is full. Sabotage and quickly withdraw, and quickly withdraw, and quickly withdraw. They cannot come locking this door, come locking this door.
Hey man.
All right. Hey, Benedict Belward, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the People Who Poo Podcast, not just any podcast. How are you doing?
Very well, mate. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Dude,
It's a sunny evening in Barcelona.
we're losing it, but
What's more to
hopefully
like?
we can get enough chitter chatter in before we're in darkness. But
Absolutely.
at least we got the songs in. You played. Talk me through exactly if you remember the order, because there was a little bit of some mashup in between different tracks. So what did we hear?
Sure. So I played an old favourite, first of all. Favourite to the three people who listen to my music on the regular. Called Marry Me, Marry On, which I wrote after seeing Midnight in Paris. I wrote the lyrics after seeing that. It's all about, this idealistic feeling when you fall in love with a wonderful French woman.
Yeah.
Marion Cotillard, well, I mean, it's not directly about her, it's about her character.
Okay.
Then I played Miss Right by Anderson .Paak, probably my favourite artist to come out of the last 2 years. I know he's been around a lot longer than that, but absolutely love him.
Yeah.
And then I did that, and that went straight into John Hamm, which is another song of mine, which is now 6 years old.
6 years old.
6 years old.
And why have we not heard more about it?
It's like an infant.
Why hasn't it been
It's
top of the
reading
pops?
Why hasn't it been top of the pops? Combination, I think, of
Mainly politics.
systemic prejudice against talent, frankly. And I said I wouldn't get political, but no, it's.
But
It's
it's
probably because I only put it on SoundCloud and not Spotify.
maybe.
That's it. All the cool kids on Spotify. And then I played a song called Timelines, which I wrote last year, which is a lot more jazzy.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally I played a song called Hamstring, which I wrote this year, which I'm currently kind of still writing. I've got a demo of it, and then I've been working with my friend Carlo kind of doing a long distance production thing.
Shout out Carlo.
Carlo.
How many R's are in
Carlo Luciano Porini. Actually, one.
Just one, but we just emphasize it.
But we can call him Il Principino Carlo.
That's good too.
The Prince Carlo.
I literally just watched the sun go down over your face. Like, it's beautifully romantic. We've lost the sunlight now, but hopefully you can still see us.
Can you still see us?
You can definitely still hear us for those listening on the app.
Yes.
On the apps. Speaking of listening, we've done a little bit of listening of your music, the wife and I, but let's say you're not playing Primavera Sounds this year in Barcelona, but we're very close to the location. I know there's a special it's a special spot for you.
Absolutely. So I went here last year. It was my first ever music festival, and it was pretty magical. I mean, that's outrageous that, you know.
It was your first ever music festival.
I've been playing music since I was 13. I've been playing music for 13 years, and I'd never been to a music festival until last year.
Wow.
Outrageous. But I picked a good one to go to. I
Yeah.
thought, it was
Why?
really, really amazing.
Do you think that was intentional?
It was I think it was a little bit that I didn't have the money to do ones right when I was a student, maybe, but probably more to do with like disorganisation, stuff like that. And
I thought it was more like, fuck it, I'm not going to one until I'm playing.
There was a little bit of that as well. It's kind of like, it should be me, you know, up on the stage.
You must get that every time you go to a Justin Bieber concert.
I mean, no, he's fully deserving of all of his accolades. So, frankly, I'd just bow down in child's pose and say, well done.
That's an inside joke because Ben did his first yoga class yesterday or the day before.
It's been a weekend of firsts and a lot of self-care.
Self-care.
It's been great.
Self-care and probably love.
How does that feel? God, your
That
leg
feels
is
good.
smooth.
This is well, we can mention
It's a scar here.
as a
war story.
the last time I saw Ben play was as a surprise for my wedding, and he's got that to show for it. I don't know if we can get that. Those who are listening obviously can't see
Battle
it.
Scars, one of my favourite John Mayer albums.
Yeah,
Also
600 euro scar on the leg, 6 stitches, and apparently surgery now still to be done.
Yes, so I don't quite remember how it happened.
But I know why you haven't been gigging so much anymore. If each gig costs you that much money,
Yeah.
I would...
It's like that bit in Family Guy when it's like 10 weeks of unicycle lessons, so we're a little bit in the red, you know. But I just stole $10 from Lois's wallet, so you know, it's a little bit like that.
yeah.
You know,
but,
13 years of not getting paid for gigs, so we're a little bit in the red. But it's okay.
Yeah, but that's... that, all jokes aside, you have played plenty of other gigs and
Yes.
come out relatively unscathed, so it can be done.
Yes, it can.
Just maybe it's the open bar element.
That was definitely you pouring rum into my mouth. Never go to a bartender's wedding, right? Sounds like such a businessman joke. Never
Yeah.
go to a bartender's wedding.
And I do appreciate you wearing the same pants that you wore that we had to cut off your legs to be able to
Also,
get
champion
to the
endorsement
scar.
here as well. Yeah.
Don't throw out brand. We said no endorsements here.
Listen, sorry, man. I've got to do it. Otherwise, they'll fire me. Yeah.
Okay, back to the music. So, 13 years in the game, but you're not a full-time musician right now. How can we make that happen?
Really good question. I think it's a combination of commitment and then getting a team around you and having a load of good songs ready to go. I mean, I really find, actually, it's a really interesting thing because there was a while when I wasn't doing anything but music and I found it a lot harder to write, and I've had lots of friends who have similar experiences where if you're going full hog with the music, sometimes oddly, although you have more time, it's like counterproductive creatively, and it's nice to have other outlets that kind of fuel that creativity. If it's kind of time boxed, it means that you can actually write better stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and I would imagine also you have this sort of pressure of like, okay, I'm dedicating myself 100% to music. If I'm not writing, like, fuck, like you give yourself anxiety. And also from I can't remember the name of the song you play, but was it the last or second last song? There's definitely some office work references in there.
Stare at spreadsheets in ergonomic seats.
You sing it better. I'm going to let people listen to you sing it.
The
But
way you sang it.
I have to
like the way
squeeze
you
my
work it.
testicles to try and get to the heights that you get to, and it doesn't look or sound good. So I'll leave the singing to you. But yeah, like you're saying, it's with stand-up comedians, they say when they get too famous and just start touring so much, they just talk about airports and they're not relatable. So, you know, maybe your thing could be talking about relatable stuff like offices. Well, I think it is your thing, no?
Well, a lot of people work in offices, so hopefully I'm appealing to the David Brents of the world, you know, that can
but then it's
rejoice.
Then it's just good music too. That's what I'm very naive to the music industry and what works and everything. I said the same thing with the Seggy and George that I had on last time. I'm like,
Shouts out Saggy and George.
yeah,
Shaggy and George.
Seggies and Squares. Circles and Squares, who are now killing it. I opened up for Souls of Mischief the other night.
93 to Infinity.
Yeah, they played that and it was so cool. So I can't wait to see you at Primavera Sounds here after this podcast just sends you skywards.
Well, you're a very well-connected man here in the city, Danny. I would expect that you would now share that video. It would get huge viral acclaim, and then I'll be here playing the main stage.
Dude, I don't know why more people don't do that sort of thing though, because even like maybe organised busking, because coming down there was only 2 of us watching you then, but it was like a little private gig, and there was I don't know if you saw, but there's a terrace behind you, and lower down there was a couple of people on the terrace like yeah, doing these little shoulder dabs and stuff.
Shimmies.
Why don't more people just do free mini gigs for friends in the park, and then everyone throws in $5 or something?
I just had an idea that's a really good idea, but when you said shimmies, you asked me earlier what's standing between me and being a full-time musician. It's the fact that we don't have a dance for any of the songs, like a Dougie or a Soldier Boy,
or Drop It Low,
or Drop It Like It's Hot or something. I don't know.
Arab Money.
What's Arab Money?
That one.
Yeah.
Well, that's an easy fix.
I mean, yeah, we'll have to come up with that right now.
Now. You're on your own there, big boy.
I think to answer your question though, like intimate gigs are really great, and doing them. So recently I played a few like smaller house shows. My friend runs works at a company in London called Little Concert, where they set up that very thing, where it's like, rather than have your traditional gig venue, everyone buys a £5 ticket, big sound system, front of house, back of house, dark room, lights and stuff. It's much more like, you're just playing someone's living room, and they pay for you to play, and you get the money, and you also get an audience watching you. Dude, sometimes you play private gigs for Dutch people that have had an argument. That happened to me last year. That's really
was that how they hired you? They say, would you like to come and play?
It's like an online platform, and I got a message where it was like, Jens would like to. I probably shouldn't say his name.
Well, there's more than one.
Okay, yeah. So this guy was like, this guy wants to hire you, and it was like, and the message just said, just a guy.
By the way, if Jens somehow sees this, I'll be super impressed. Please call me and complain about Benedict.
I mean, shouts out to Jens. He had balls of steel.
He probably didn't start.
It was a lovely romantic gesture. I just felt, as the musician, I felt a little bit like a third wheel, because basically what happened was, all the message said was just a guy trying to be romantic with his girl, and I thought, well, that's nice. Maybe I'll play this show. Yeah. And it didn't occur to me that maybe it would like just be me, him, and the girl. And then he booked me like on the same day. So I go to his house at like 8 p.m. And go upstairs, and it's like him just eating some noodles, and he's like, yeah, me and my girlfriend had an argument, so I'm going to surprise her. Do you know Moon River and this song and this song and this song? I was like, no.
Wow.
And so I just played like Al Green in this dark living room, and he went and picked her up from the Uber because she was coming home from dinner, and then they just started making out in front of me for like 40 minutes. I just played some songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice.
That's what I was dreamed
weird,
of.
Man. That's very weird. That's very weird. I imagine more like the first impression I get of 2 people with a private gig is like the guy who comes with a violin next to your table at a fancy restaurant, or a mariachi maybe when it's your birthday in Mexico. But that's interesting. What have you had any other strange gigs?
Nothing like that. That was far and away the strangest one. But I was actually saying to Katie earlier as well, it's always way more awkward if it's like one-on-one. If someone's like, sing me a song or something like that. I remember when I started doing guitar lessons, I had to like sing and play, and it's just me and my guitar teacher in the room, and that's like super nerve-wracking, way more than playing to lots and lots of people. Yeah.
So how long have you been playing guitar?
Since I was 12, so a solid 14 years.
And singing?
Singing, I sang since primary school, but then started singing in a band when I was like 13, because I said to my friend Adam, we've got to play Basket Case at our school's talent show by Green Day.
And
They were really cool. And obviously I had loads of girlfriends in high school and stuff because I was cool.
And and this is high school
Cool.
in the UK or in Italy, because you spent some time in Italia.
In Italia, yeah. I was very, very lucky to grow up in Italy near Milan. And so
Yeah.
this was, all high school was in Italy as well. But it was at a school with 6 different language sections and lots more people from lots more countries. So we had Dutch, French, German, English.
Wow,
And
you would have had
and
a massive
Italian.
advantage already with the songs, because we talked about how interesting and fun it is when people from other countries sing English songs without really having a full grasp of the lyrics.
But equally, we sing Dragos de Dinte by Ozone, and we don't have a full grasp of the lyrics. You know,
I guess people sing Despacito.
Maya he, Maya who.
That's true.
there's probably Romanians everywhere. Like,
Idiots.
this is ridiculous. They're sabotaging our national anthem.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of Romanians saying.
It's actually probably the best pop song ever written, though.
And it got very popular with that young gentleman with his, again, like you were saying, every song needs a dance, because there was that slightly bigger guy, very enthusiastic, who was
Yeah.
doing these arm moves. You didn't see that
I
on
never saw
YouTube
that.
with that song? Like
Got
basically
huge.
lip syncing, massive. That's the first time I heard that song was with that gentleman. So
Wow.
Romania, give him a
Shouts
Give
out to
some.
Romania. Represent.
shout out to all the people streaming this in Romania.
You know, shouts out to my Romanian fan base. There used to be a plug-in on Myspace where you could see fans around the world. There's always a big pin on Romania. I know.
Where should people find you now? Because MySpace is a little bit left behind.
I'm still committed to the platform. I think it's coming back.
That could be why, why you're not playing Primavera Sounds. Maybe.
Check out my MySpace. Check it out. I'm giving away my CD-ROMs
Yeah.
with enhanced CD. Do you remember enhanced CD?
Dude, I remember Discmans.
So on a Discman, you get an enhanced CD where you could put it in the PC and it would give you like shitty artwork.
Extra stuff. Yeah. I remember having to bring, at the stage in year 11 or 12, having to bring less books to school because I had to fit my CDs in there for the
like a
Discman.
wallet. Yeah, the
Like
CD
I had
wallet.
two big things, and I was like,
Yeah.
I remember when I got my first burnt CD off this kid at school who I didn't understand how it worked, but he could get any music you wanted onto a disc.
LimeWire.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
LimeWire and
Kazaa.
Kazaa.
Yeah, they were great. Well, no, they weren't. I don't endorse that at all.
No, because
You know,
you wouldn't.
that's
know
why
that.
I'm out of a job. No. Yeah.
So
they're-
Bandcamp's the best spot now for people
Yes,
to.
absolutely. So you can buy my music on Bandcamp. I think it's £3, whatever the current exchange rate is for euros or Bulgarian lev.
And if people want to stream
or
it there,
South African rand, they can stream it there for absolutely nothing. You can stream some of my songs on SoundCloud for absolutely nothing. Watch this space. I'm going to do a few remasters and get it all on your favourite streaming services as well. Your Napsters, your Deezers, your Spotify's.
so Bandcamp,
Your
that's
Apple
but
Musics.
that's good for people to know, because a lot of people sort of hear of but don't actually hear from a musician of what's the difference if I listen on Bandcamp versus Spotify to your music. What's the difference for you economically, let's say?
Really good question. There's an amazing infographic. Do you know Information is Beautiful? The guy David McCandless. He
I've
does.
heard Information is beautiful, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
So it's a series of beautiful graphs
Okay.
representing different sorts of data. And there's one on the royalties that streaming services pay, and
Mhm.
it changes year on year. It's actually a very complex business. I have no idea how they work it out. But there was a really interesting graph with all the different streaming services. Right, rock bottom is YouTube, so that like pays the absolute least. But also, it has the most traffic.
Mhm.
So a lot of the times, it's like basically it was really interesting as well, because what this graph shows is like number of streams you would need to make minimum wage, and then ranks them on that basis. So for YouTube it was something
good.
like 2 million. Spotify pays less than Apple Music. Apple Music's kind of like middle ground sort of thing, pays maybe like 20-30% more than Spotify, and then you've got Tidal and ironically Napster near the top. Napster that started the whole streaming debacle. Where it was like LimeWire initially. It was like file sharing.
I didn't even know it was still doing things.
Yeah, no, it's still going. I
So
remember
it's
like I
legal
got
now.
a phone in Italy 2 summers ago and it was like Napster free. And I was like, this is cool.
So it's a legal.
It's a great service.
It's a legal service now.
Yeah, it's paid for. So I think it like incorporated with Rhapsody. But the good thing about Bandcamp is that, you know, if you buy my music, I obviously get a chunk of money for that. And it was really nice. Played some gigs in January, and it's always lovely when like new people who don't know you, aren't your friends, like come up to you afterwards and they like bought the record and stuff, which was really, really nice.
Yeah,
So
and
I
$3.
appreciate
I mean,
Yeah.
$3
Well,
for
that's
a
it.
record.
But I mean, people
I was
don't
paying
expect
20 something back in the day.
Well, it's really interesting. People don't really expect to pay for music in that way anymore. So I guess you've got to adapt to that. You know, to quote Star Wars,
It's
you
funny
can't
what-
stop the suns from setting. It's an old proverb.
Yeah, that's good.
deep.
But it's funny what
Deep
like
thoughts.
what you think. Speaking of deep, what becomes the norm to pay for or not pay for? Like, who decides that musicians shouldn't get paid for their music anymore? Like, would you reckon one day it's just going to be like, well, taxis, people driving us around, we don't need to pay them either? Like, why? Who decides these things?
I think it's critical mass, isn't it? I mean, it's in some ways it's a shame. In some ways it opens up new opportunities. That's definitely how a sort of business person, optimist would see things. But I think it's, the industry's changed because you know you can get it for free. You do. I mean, streaming's changed it as well. It seems like a lot of people are willing to pay for stuff legally, which is really encouraging. If you look at like Netflix or Spotify, people will pay £10 a month or €10 a month for Spotify if they can get something legally and legitimately, if it's easy enough and in the right price bracket. So I know there's like a lot of people that have said lower streaming from £10 a month to, you know, maybe £5, and then you'll get more uptake as well. I mean, there's still masses and masses and masses of people that use Spotify's free tier, and they've kind of been criticised for that. And equally YouTube sort of for not properly monetizing music and stuff like that. There's a big debate going on in streaming right now. I'm pretty ill informed, but I don't think any one person decides it. It happens over time, and you saw, you know, in the initial period, LimeWire, Kazaa kind of like taking chunks out of music. I can't remember exactly, but apparently 1999 was like the biggest year for sales of music ever, and then it's been declining ever since then.
I'm getting attacked by ants, sorry.
That's all right.
I think I'm sitting on an ant's nest. We did well to move over here.
It's great. In nature. The first outdoor episode.
Yeah.
Can we make it like Steve Irwin, because you're Australian?
Because I'm Australian and there's... you want me to get killed by a stingray? No stingrays around here, but sharp ferns.
Shouts out Steve Irwin.
Yeah, rest in peace,
Rest
mate.
in peace, man. He brought me a lot of joy as a child.
I think he brought a lot of people a lot of joy. Some of them were laughing at him, some of them were laughing with him, some of them thought he was a great dude.
Croc Files!
I got to see him live once at his zoo, and he was exactly like on TV, like a passionate dude.
Just shows you, a man of integrity.
Man of integrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of integrity, we've talked a little bit about
You don't
artists
have
that
any.
No, that's what I want to get to. Like, because again, talking about how things work nowadays in the music industry and how maybe people sell out and do certain things. Maybe people now decide to go with brands that aren't traditionally music brands, sign up to, I don't know, clothing sponsors, drink sponsors. Like, I know you love your hip hop, and there's a lot of that sort of thing in hip hop. So how does an artist nowadays make a living but maintain integrity?
Really good question. I think there's lots of really interesting writing about this sort of thing, and you're absolutely right. Whereas maybe before, like mega pop stars might do a fashion campaign or get an endorsement, that's a really common way for both brands to get credibility by not just going for mega people and kind of like, you know, a big one I think was like Stormzy early on, teaming up with Adidas and things like that when he wasn't yet massive. I think it happens a lot where now there's a thing in The Guardian about it where it was like, you know, big brands seeking out kind of hyped up and coming artists and kind of doing brand partnerships with them. Lots of people in music see that as a really quick way to get investment, because literally it's almost like brands are the new patrons, similarly to, you know, how in, you know, 17th, 18th century courts people would commission a Mozart or a Haydn to write a symphony. Now it's like a band will say, I'll give you 20 grand to do a single campaign, do a video and stuff like that, and just wear my stuff, you know. So I mean, if it enables people's creativity and it's not controlling, then you could argue that's a good thing. Other people might argue that, you know, it's kind of like you're feeding the corporate machine. It's an interesting one. I went to a fascinating independent music conference about 6 months ago. And there are a lot of artists that are like fully independent, no label. And if they work hard enough to really engage their audience, I think they can make a living, like touring, you know, like initially sleeping on people's couches. But, you know, what we were talking about yesterday about that woman from Dresden Dolls as well, right? That
that killed it with a crowdfunding campaign.
So in a way, this sort of decline in music sales is opening up doors for interesting ways to make money. But the thing I think that does frustrate me is that it is a good and a bad thing, but you're forced to be a broader creatively. You can't just focus on the music.
That was my next sort of question. So that's the sort of thing that, well, here in Barcelona as well, with certain DJs, not the ones playing big festivals, obviously, where you just put their name on the ticket and everyone comes, but these DJs that are more sort of starting out, some places will say, all right, you have to bring X amount of people or whatever, so you're a DJ and a promoter. I'm not a DJ, by the way, but I have some friends who are. But a DJ and promoter, and then there's the argument of like, okay, but you know, you think Mozart was handing out flyers, or any of these big people actually have to promote as well, whereas nowadays, what you're saying, you then, in a way, maybe these people deserve to be rewarded more highly because they're creatives in a broader sense, but if you're just a really good guitarist, shouldn't you just be a really good guitarist and then someone else is in charge of getting your music heard, or is it your responsibility to get your music heard?
There's multiple avenues, and it depends what genre and what style you're going for. There's some people that will be like the creative polymath, the Donald Glovers of the world, who one can do it, make incredible stuff, and are able to pull off that sort of, I'm a filmmaker, I'm an artist. I think it's more when you're starting out, the fact that like you have to make your own website, because unless you can get a team around you of friends that are willing to help you out. I had a friend in London who was really lucky, like went to school with loads of people that loved his band.
Mm-hmm.
So he would like go on tour and do interviews and do press and do photo shoots, and he never had to worry about it. He would just write the music, play the shows, and then he had like 8 friends that would like, each one of them would have a role, and they've all gone on to work in the music industry and stuff like that. So you can do it that way, which is great if you've got a gang, you know, that are willing to help you out. Otherwise, I mean, I learned to video edit and shoot photos and stuff like that through music, a little bit of kind of design and things like that. So it is really useful, but it's just like finding the hours in the day to do it all, you know, manage your social media, do all the promoting. I mean, it's great if you can promote nights and curate things. And in some ways, I think it's kind of cool, you know, if you're like, you do music, but then you also put on nights and collaborate with artists. And I think one thing that's really great and really important that is quite rare sometimes is to have like a community of artists that really respect each other and like each other and kind of gig together. When I was growing up in Italy, it was really nice. We had like tightly knit bands like in the local area, and we all used to like gig together and eat together before the show and plug each other's bands and stuff like that. And then you get to like a big city like Birmingham, where I went to uni, or London, and it's like harder to find that. Eventually I did in London, and it's great. I have a lot of musicians.
Probably a lot more competition too, or
it's just massive. There's a big pool, and the other thing is there's a lot of promoters kind of controlling the live music scene that, in my view, it's I don't always offer the best gigging experience to artists, which is a shame, you know, because they kind of run a night, book 5 acts, make you sell a load of pre-sales, and then you play for half an hour and you don't get any money for it, which is kind of shit, you know.
Doesn't sound like a good deal.
No. Whereas in Italy, for instance, you get like free entry, you get guaranteed maybe like €150, and you kind of like flat rate, not ticket based, and you can just play. So, you know, it kind of varies, different models for live music, but it's interesting.
All right. So, I hear in the rumour mill that you might be bringing out an album soon.
An album? I wouldn't say an album. I'm going to bring out another EP, I think. So I've got an EP now on Bandcamp, Peninsula Life. All about good times
on the harbour bridge on the
soon, later this year.
Yeah,
I'm going to Sydney later this year.
Nice. Well, then maybe that could be the next cover. You just do covers with bridges.
A bridge-themed album artwork set.
You're on the Golden Gate Bridge, right?
Golden Gate Bridge, yes.
Oi, fireworks.
In fact, around the time I met you for the first time, took that photo, 2014.
Oh, I think you had that little glint in your eye.
All alone in the moon. Yeah. 4 new songs, new EP coming out. It's going to be different from the last one, which was a lot more summery. A friend once described like my music as sort of like you wind down the window and do this to it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite cool.
How do you describe your music?
Oh, every artist's most loathed question. My music's like vanilla ice cream
I thought you were going to say vanilla ice.
melting, melting on your naked body. You know.
Okay,
and then,
that's
no. I actually joking aside, we kind of with the band we were discussing, and we thought we'd coin a new genre called yearn pop.
well, there's definitely
Pop full of yearning.
there's definitely not enough genres nowadays. It's,
Yeah, absolutely. Cloud rap,
we need,
sad rap,
we need more. So
chill wave,
yearn pop it is.
yearn pop. Yeah, I'd say my music's summery, feel good, funky beats for all the family. I don't know. I've got to figure out a line. I don't have a PR person in my gang.
Ben is looking for gang members. So
If you would like to join my squad or my gang, you can fax me on
page him. What is the best way for people to get at you?
Instagram's fun. I do a lot
Instagram's
of
fun.
stories. I enjoy it as a platform. It's at Ben Belward, BenBelward. I'm launching a website very soon. Again, we'll talk about learning to code, so I'm going to put that on there.
So
on
we
the
can talk
old
a little bit.
interweb.
We can talk a little bit about that side of you because that's the music side. But you're a pretty interesting chappy because now, can we talk about the? Well, is it a bit hush
I can't
hush the job
say
you have?
anything. No,
Can't
it's
say
fine.
anything?
Absolutely not.
You work for.
I work for the
Her
taxpayer, my man.
Majesty's, Her Majesty's Royal Navy.
Yes. Well, I work for the civil service currently at the Navy. That's my job to pay the bills, but it's really enjoyable. It's very, very interesting. So I work with a lot of very clever software developers building applications for people that often have pretty tough lives at sea.
That's what's crazy because when you think Navy, you think like you're probably a sailor, but
Yeah.
you're behind the scenes making sure that all the high tech equipment works as well as possible. Is that right?
It's more taking data from that high-tech equipment and building things that people can actually use to make decisions. So it's like we've got all this amazing information, how to actually do useful stuff with it. So the Navy has loads of sensors around ships, loads of data gathering stuff from radar and meteorological data, and how do you take all of that massive big data, do interesting analytics with it, and then present it to someone via an intuitive user interface. That's the really interesting thing.
Dumb it down for people like me, right?
Yeah.
Like put it on a...
Not at all. It's like there's a design principle in government which is like do the hard work to make it simple, and I do really believe in that. Whether it's like government services for citizens, make that accessible by making it as simple as possible. And with the Navy, it's all about talking to users, understanding what they want. If you're a sailor at sea, working in a dark room on a 6-hour shift, you've got loads and loads of different screens, all flashing at you, telling you, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. How do we prioritize the most important information so they can do their job well?
So I was hoping you'd tell me that, on the Friday nights, you would be in a cute little sailor hat, entertaining the boys with your guitar. But
absolutely,
is that does it happen?
Village people, 24/7. I love it. Why do you think I'm down the Navy?
Yeah, nice.
Club Tropicana, drinks are free.
I was at Silent Disco. They played Club Tropicana in the middle of the day
Yeah,
last Saturday. It was really nice.
silent discos are a lot of fun. That's another thing that hopefully goes a little harder this summer in Barcelona. See more of those. All right, for the future,
Yes.
for Ben Belward,
Yes.
we won't talk about who you aren't a big fan of, but who would you dream collaborate with musically?
Great question. I mean, I could say absolute heroic, amazing people like Anderson .Paak and Kendrick Lamar and stuff like that, and Thundercat. I really, really, really like the kind of LA jazz scene that's come out, as well as bands like Noah, who are really cool. Like lots of really virtuosic musicians who are just doing really, really exciting stuff. I went through a phase of not being excited by that much new music. The last 2 years, it's been absolutely killing it. Bands like Bad Bad Not Good, who are like a trio. They do kind of hip hoppy jazz things. They've been a real big influence on me lately.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really fun to work with artists like Mac DeMarco would probably be quite fun, just because he's a funny guy.
I've got to get out.
I mean,
I don't know any of these guys.
It's also really interesting because Anderson .Paak already collaborates with Mac DeMarco and people like that, so it shows that it's like-minded people coming together. It's cool, man.
Anderson .Paak,
yeah.
hit us up. Hit him up.
Cheeky Andy, I love that.
He played Sonar last year, I think. Where did we see him? We saw him at Sonar. So yeah, maybe opening up for Anderson .Paak at Sonar.
Wow, that'd be amazing. Who knows, mate?
He opened for Bruno Mars, and I didn't know he was playing until I literally saw him in the street. I saw him in the street. This was before Sonar. I just ran into him at front of the Carhartt store, and I was like, "What the fuck? Are you where are you playing?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm opening up for Bruno Mars." I was like, "What? Firstly, why are you opening and not Bruno?" And then
Bruno's great though, mate. He's good as pop stars go. I think he's really good.
yeah, he's a talented dude, but
Yeah.
but yeah, look at Anderson .Paak on drums though.
Anderson .Paak is that's it, and I'm obsessed with drums. I'd love to have a house where I could just beat the drums, you know, without worrying about disturbing any neighbours or anything. When I was a teenager, we had like a garage with the drum kit set up, so I could just like go out there.
You've got like your music isn't really that your own stuff doesn't seem that influenced in it. You can always correct me if I'm wrong, in hip hop, but then you have a love of hip hop and the funky stuff as well.
Massively.
And then you see it when you do like No Diggity or Anderson .Paak covers that you throw a little rapping in there as well.
Definitely. I mean, it's tremendous fun. Whether or not I'm that good remains to be seen.
Dude,
but it is great. It's
tomorrow you've got a gig here at Lulu. Shout out to the girls there.
Yes.
And,
shout out to Lulu's. Thank you for having me. Shout out to Danny for getting me the gig. He's a lovely man.
Yeah.
Namaste.
And is there anything else we should tell the people? You've mentioned your Instagram handle already.
Yes.
And your Bandcamp. Your Bandcamp's easy to find as well.
benbelward.bandcamp.com. Just put Ben Belward Bandcamp in. You'll find it. Peninsula Life EP. £3. That's probably like 16 Chupa Chups. You make it the choice how you want to spend your hard-earned cash.
Less sugar in his album, but very sweet nevertheless.
It's a gluten-free, totally paleo album.
Yeah.
The original title was Paleo Life.
Yeah?
No.
That would have been good.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Some dogs walking past.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a park in
This is real
in
world Barcelona.
Exactly. The sun's gone down. We're about to lose light. But thank you so much for doing this, man. It's
Not at
been
all.
really cool, and to be able to go outside and test the equipment. If anyone's hearing this and they've lasted till this long, sound quality must be pretty damn good.
I agree,
and you
man.
must be an interesting chappy.
Oh, thank you, mate. Well, thank you very much for having me. It's been really interesting. I love chatting.
We'll do
some great questions.
Next time we'll do it at, when you're playing Primavera Sounds.
Hell yeah! And with that, happy 4th of July.
Fireworks go off.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
All right. Cheers, dude.
There you have it, guys. Thanks for watching and listening. Below are links to Ben's music and social media. Let's get this boy onto the big stage. Peace.
It's me.
Remember to always be true, no matter what you do.
What's going on here?
People who poo.
What is this?
Stop what you're doing and listen.
You say hi.